Now look, I'm not a Star Wars YouTuber, but this show is literally asking me to make a video because of just how bad it is. Warning, there will be spoilers in this video if you have not yet watched The Acolyte Episode 8 or any of the previous episodes. Let's start off with the good things about the show. Alright, now let's move on to the bad things. Nah, just kidding, it's Star Wars, it can't all be that bad. Now obviously we got the Yoda and Darth Plagueis cameo, and let me just say, instead of being a Sith Lord, Plagueis would make an excellent hand model. I mean, just look at those fingers. Now, I get that seeing Plagueis on the screen for the first time is pretty cool, but why'd they have to put him in for 2 seconds? And in the worst Star Wars show to ever exist? Ever? Like, why? Now, the only other cool thing in this episode is the fight between Sol and Quimir, however you pronounce it. The fight was pretty cool. I like how Quimir. Look, I'm just going to call him Quimir. The fight was pretty cool. I like how Quimir's lightsabers split in two, and he had like a lightsaber dagger. Sick lightsabers. The only thing I don't really like about the fight is that slow motion kick. Everyone else online has been saying that it looks cool, but I just found it kind of goofy. He kicks him 3 times, and the first 2 kicks look really weak. Like, he does nothing. Quimir doesn't even respond. However, the third kick sends him flying. Great physics, Disney. It also seemed like Quimir was losing the fight pretty badly until Osha came along and choked him. That's right, a former Jedi who respects the Jedi and trains with Sol killed Sol. Like, just why? Even the writers were confused, I bet you. Now remember, those were the good parts, and I still criticized them. But trust me, it gets worse. For the first thing I don't like, I'm gonna go a bit soft on Disney. I think some of the characters in the Acolyte were pretty cool. I liked May's assassin armor, not her character was mid. Sol was pretty cool. The Wookiee Jedi Kalnaka, or Kalnaka, however you pronounce it, man, Star Wars names are hard to pronounce. He was insane because we have never had a Jedi Wookiee before, and it was cool. And some of the other characters were also pretty cool. But guess what pretty much all of them had in common? They died. And May's assassin robes are gone. The only exciting person left is Quimir, and he just put his helmet on and disappeared with his weird teleporting power. Like, what is even going on in this show anymore? Moving on, something we all know about this show is that it makes pretty much no sense. Anakin is no longer special because 2 random failed experiments exist, and the twins, who are apparently not twins because they're basically clones, swapped roles. Like, what? May went from being evil to getting her memory erased and probably gonna join or help the Jedi, and Osha went from being a mechanic thing and a former Jedi, and then she decided without any thought that she'd go join the dark side with Quimir and train with him. Like, why? What? And speaking of the twins, I mean, I don't really like them, to be honest. They're not that interesting, along with pretty much all the other characters in the show. They don't really seem that cool, and the chant that Moist Critical pointed out was definitely lame.
Like the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. That's horrible. That's like the first thing someone would put on like a whiteboard before like actually fleshing it out into what the real chant would be.
I honestly feel bad for the actors having to play these roles. Oh, and one character I forgot to mention is that Darth Maul Force Witch lady. She kinda just disappeared into thin air. I reckon if they bring her back, it's not going to be that interesting. She didn't really affect much on the series. But speaking of bringing people back, I highly doubt we'll get a season 2. There is a close to no chance we'll get another season because of how badly the Acolyte was received. And I get that it was a bad show, but I think if we get a season 2, it won't be as bad. I think the reason the season was bad is because of the Hollywood strikes, and they just seem like they want to throw a bunch of ideas together, but they didn't properly execute them, and so even they got confused when they were writing it, and everything just fell apart. But if we do somehow, on the slim chance, get a season 2, I think that the purpose of the show is to build up a Darth Sidious backstory. At least, I hope. If not, I don't want a season 2. I don't want Disney to waste another $180 million on a bad Star Wars show. They can keep the money. Now, hear me out about this Sidious theory. A lot of things have been hinting at this Darth Sidious thing, though. Like how Anakin was made in the same way Osha and May were. We got the Darth Plagueis cameo, who was Darth Sidious's master. A former Jedi, Osha, joined the dark side because of the Jedi and the people she lost. Seems really similar to Anakin and Darth Sidious. But, yeah, that's all I have to say, pretty much. If you came here for a Star Wars video about some kid ranting on about how bad the Acolyte is, you came to the right place. But I don't recommend watching any of my other content, as it's mainly gaming like Skyrim and Assassin's Creed and other games like that. Unless you are interested in that sort of stuff, of course. If so, feel free to subscribe. Anyways, see ya.